Hi guys, Tiffany here. Welcome to my Quilting Live, episode 34 of the Insomniac Quilting series. If you are new to my channel, head down there, one of those ways. It's that way. Head down that way. And hit that bell after you subscribe and get notifications when I'm live. And don't forget to like my videos and share them. So I was just here a little bit ago. You know, you cannot get enough of me. Oh no. Stay. I'm having technical difficulties. My phone shut off and then turned back on. It's because I have it on the charger and I'm hoping that it stays charging because I'm like literally killing my phone. I went through like 5 live streams I was on today. Plus I made my own 2 already and now on number 3. And yeah, I'm kind of using my phone up quite a bit. So I just took a quick momentary break from the last project, wardrobe change, for the Insomniac videos. Don't forget, when you join me for this Insomniac series, make sure you are in your pajamas and ready to sew, because you can't sleep just like me. Although I think it's can't sleep all day because I'm crazy hyper. Anyway, if you are new to my channel and you're new to the Insomniac series is videos kind of like TV episodes. You never know what's going to happen. Always after 10 p.m. my time here in Arizona, and it's random. So when I can't sleep, which is always, but when I can't sleep and have the ability to make a video, I make a video. So yeah, that's what it is. Anyway, I was making my son's quilt. Hi, Kim. Just so proud to be here. Awesome. I'm proud to be here too with all of you who can't sleep and are crazy like me. No, just kidding. So anyway, I was working on Cyrus's quilt last night. Started by making half square triangles. Oh my God, the most easiest thing ever. I made piles, which you guys saw me, the way I stack my piles. And I started stacking them. I actually have 6 pieces left, need 9 to make what I'm making. So I just stuck these aside and I kind of went through and pulled some of the ones that there is a lot of that color because there was like more than one block in the beginning anyway, with these hiccups, constantly hiccups. It just doesn't stop. The trick is for me to hold my breath. Swallow 3 times while I'm holding my breath. That's what gets rid of them lately. And or I lay on my bed with my head over the bed, like hanging upside down, and then swallow. Usually those 2 things help. Pickle juice used to help, but hasn't in a long time because I don't have pickle juice to do it with. Anyway, where was I? Rambling on. All right, here we go. There's my piles. They're all stacked, all the same way. This is what I did last night in the video. This is what I did. So all these now need to be sewn in 2 blocks. And this is me chain piecing over and over. And it actually doesn't matter where they end up. But no 2 blocks should have 2 of the same color in them, hopefully. We will see what happens when I get that far. So, all right, I'm going to, where's my thing? Oh, there it is. I'm going to put my chingamabobber on here. I'm going to move it over there. And then I'm going to turn the camera so that you can see what I'm doing, because it's nice to see. And I didn't cut any of the dog ears off of any of this. I'm just going to sew with them. I really honestly do not care. I should probably cut them off. I'm trying to like not take forever, and he wanted simple and easy. So what I'm doing is simple and easy. Come on, stay straight up, you dumb thing. Okay. So everything is situated. and beautiful, situated on beautiful. I'm going to move these extra blocks out of the way. I'm going to turn the camera, and to make sure that I don't lose my signal, I'm just going to use the front facing camera because I don't trust the internet tonight. I don't know why. I'm not on the internet either. I'm actually using my phone. I'm using the service on my phone, but I actually should be using Wi-Fi because nobody else is on it. If it cuts out, it's not my fault, okay? It should go straight to it. Let's see if it goes straight to it. It shouldn't kill you guys, though. Hopefully not. We'll see right now. I think it went straight to Wi-Fi. Okay, good, good, good. So what I'm my piles, I'm going to start by taking, see way over here, way over here. This is row 1, row 2, and row 3. I'm going to take the top row 1 and row 2 pieces, these two, and I am going to bring these over to me, and I'm going to sew them together. I'm going to chain piece the whole lot of them. So I'm going to turn the camera before I even do this without messing anything up. Put it right here. I'm going to grab row 1 and row 2, and maybe I should have cut off those dog ears. Why? Because these ones are going to be in the way of this dumb little foot thing unless I change my presser foot out real quick, which I think I'm going to do and attempt to keep a 1/4 inch seam because that will make it easier. That way I don't have to cut anything off, you know, because I'm lazy like that. And my seam guide can keep everything good. And there it goes on my lap. It's a good thing it didn't fall very far, or else it would have stabbed me. All right, we're going to use the seam guide on this one. That way I don't have to do anything specific. Just stick with my 1/4 inch, and the little chingamabobber, the dog ear, will actually roll itself up. All right, so here's these again. I'm going to take 1 and take 2, and I think I'm also going to bring these comments over to me because that's just too far out of my way. Just like this right here. There we go. See how easy this is? Okay, there we go. Let's see, am I the only one here? Hi, Deborah. Hi, Shirley. Hi, guys. Hi, Pamela. I'm back. Severe storm has passed my county, so I can hang out with you guys. Oh, I was worried it was going to be something where you couldn't do anything, go anywhere, be anything, because the storm was too bad. All right, right sides together. And I think I'm going to lose video right now. Or not. Let's see. Hold on. My screen just did that stupid screen thing that it does when it's been being used all day. It should still be on. I don't know why it hasn't cleared up yet. Clear up. Clear up. You guys are still here. It's just, I don't know how to even show you guys what's happening to my screen. It's pretty crazy. Okay, you're going on a trip real quick to, sorry. Okay. I think it's weird. Sometimes my screen, when my phone has been on like this, I mean, I did buy it used from my daughter, probably of it. It'll turn this metallic stripy color. Yeah, it's really messed up. And you know, the funny thing is, ready for this one? Live streaming from the computer changed. So if I even wanted to go on from the computer, I can't because it's it needs another program to run it, and I don't know how to do that because every time I try to, it doesn't go to my YouTube. So I have to figure that out and get somebody to figure it out or something to figure it out. All right, let's plug this thing back in carefully. There we go. Hasn't done that in like a couple weeks either. That's the weirdest thing. All right. Okay, here we go. Right sides together. I'm just going to keep this dog ear here. And now it should bypass right beyond it. Now, just remember, I did not trim these blocks. I am sewing them together the size they came out. My son said he wanted simple. I'm doing simple. They all came out about the same size. My sewing was accurate and my cutting was pretty accurate. So I'm going to leave that there. Grab this one from this side. This pile is like right here, so it's a little bit out of your view. And then I'm going to grab this one. Right sides together. Again, I left my doggies on here because I really don't care. As long as they are lined up. Obviously, it's a little bit harder to see with that dumb piece there, but that's okay. It'll flip itself up, hopefully. And I'm just going to keep chain piecing one from this pile and then one from the pile that's next to me, like this, over and over and over until every single one of these are sewn together. And in a little bit, I will need this, so I'm going to bring that over here. Hi, Anne. Just stick it right there for now. I hope everyone is doing good this evening and enjoying the wonderful time at home, unable to go anywhere or do anything. Just look at all the sewing we can get done, though. Like all of my fellow quilters out there, before this whole virus epidemic thing, or whatever it is, couldn't sew but maybe, you know, twice a week, 3 times a week, if that, you know, because of their busy work schedules. And now a lot of places are closed, shut down, or whatever, working from home. So you guys get way more time to sew. So that is a positive. So you got to look at the positive things. All right, so I'm just going to keep chain piecing all of these through until I have no pieces left to sew. And even though I did leave these dog ears on here, some of them are going to probably annoy me. Since all the blocks are facing a different direction when I sew them all together, I won't really have to worry about them because I'm not making a pinwheel or anything, so they're not going to get in the way. Normally, I don't leave these in a quilt, but my son said simple and easy, so I'm not spending any extra time that I don't need to on his quilt. Plus, you guys want to know how to make simple stuff, too. So, yeah. You know, I totally forgot to roll some bobbins like I said I needed to do in my last video. I was like, maybe I should roll bobbins before the Insomniac series, but I didn't do that. So I'll probably have to roll one or two sometime during this whole sewing process. I think this will be a very boy-like quilt, even though it has some girly colors in it. He doesn't care. He likes pinks and purples. Definitely not a picky teenager, for sure. Like some 14-year-olds are like, heck no, I'm never going to have something with pink or purple in it, or magenta or anything like that. They're like, they try to pretend like it's not manly enough, but a man likes all colors of the rainbow. At least my kind of man. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Little B Cross. You know what I think I want to do is I think I want to catch when I'm watching all my live streams and all of you that have names that aren't a name that, you know, like say Little B Cross. I know you guys have told me your names plenty of times, but I think what I'm going to start doing is next time you guys remind me, I'm going to write all the names for the specific people who have names that aren't a first and last name on their YouTube channel names. And I'm going to write them all down. And then I'm going to write your AKA real name next to it. And I'm going to put it right here on the wall next to me so that I can go, before I see the comment, I can go, oh, hey, yeah, and then say your name, because I'm sounds weird that I don't get them all. Because I can never remember the names you guys all tell me. So I should write it all down so that I can remember. Some I'm starting to remember, some I'm confusing with each other. So I don't want to say it unless I know it. And that would be the reason for having it wrote down. Sound like a good idea? I think it does. What are you guys all doing? Is anybody else sewing? Anybody else getting some sewing done? Sewing done. Sewing done. Or is anyone quilting along while I sew? Oh, too many kids songs all day, every day. I've actually been making fun of the kids songs by singing my own words. I know I'm weird. That's what happens when I'm hyper at night. What's a good marking pen other than the friction pen? I have. Which one do I have? Oh, I have the friction one. And then I also have these kind right here, air erasable. Why I keep looking over here. It's right here. Duh. I also have these air erasable ones. These were from Wish. I got a 3-pack, I think, for $1. It's hit and miss whether they work or not. Honestly, I'm cheap. I don't like to spend a lot of money, and the regular pins are expensive, like the brand ones. So I buy inexpensive stuff so my husband doesn't get mad. So I have that. And then a purple one as well. And they are the color that's on the lid. And then I keep another one out in the garage, which is like kind of stupid to do because every time I keep something in the garage, it gets ruined. Like one of my rulers. Very ruined from keeping it in the garage. I actually have the table has been bombarded with stuff out there, so I haven't actually been cutting quilts out there. So my ruler is actually inside so that it doesn't get any more ruined. And I've just been trimming anything off of the long arm in here, even though it's kind of hard because that table has usually nothing on it, and I can like hang the quilt over the whole table. And in here, I have to hold it very nicely to keep it on the table. Let's see. And so, yeah, answer to your question, a lot of other ones out there. I just buy cheap stuff usually. So, Anna's making masks for local nursing homes right now. Kim is leaning on pillows, trying to get your back to stop arguing with you. I know the feeling, Kim. Hey, Michelle. And for those that are new to my channel and don't know, every time I see Michelle come on, it's my best friend. So that's why she gets the exciting highs, because it's, yeah, she's my best friend. Let's see. Anna's making 36 inches of binding for each mask and making 32 masks tonight. I don't know the math, but it's too much. Whoa. 36 inches of binding. So you have to make the masks with binding. Huh. I'm glad I didn't start making any masks, guys. And you guys already told me there's too many videos out there anyway. So that's another reason why I am not making a mask tutorial. Let's see, I sew during the day and knit in the evening so you can watch me. Aw, awesome, Shirley. Let's see. And I'm making 10 masks for the local truck stop workers again, then for some family. That's a lot of binding. Yes, definitely is. Little B Cross is making crazy block. Ooh, fun. Hi, Michelle. Did you see the Quilting Marine is back? Oh, did all of you see that the Quilting Marine is back? He posted a video today, so you guys can't ask me no more. Like I said, I knew it had to have been something with his, he was overwhelmed. And I had said that before in one of the many videos that people have asked me. So it's good that he's back. He's probably not going to do as many live chats. I'm assuming by what he said in his video that it'll probably just be, made videos, on things. So, but at least he's back to it, and it's what he loves to do. So he needs, he needed his time to get back his thing. Like he said, he was doing too much for other people and not enough for himself. So it's good that he even came back and said something. All right. When, let's see, hold on, let me read comments real quick before I get to what I'm saying. Hi, Shirley. Well, straps for tying, since no elastic this side of the Rockies. There's no elastic anywhere from what I've heard. Joe. Hi, Joe. Made it back. Let's see. Okay. All right. Where was I? Okay. So now that I took row 1 and row 2's number 1 piece, and I sewed them in order, I'm going to keep them in this order. This is how I keep track of how I'm doing things. And I'm going to break them, and I'm going to stack them exactly in the order that they are. So I'm going to just break them and keep them in this particular order, just like this. And I'm not going to turn them or anything. They're all going to face the same direction that they were sewed, with my sewing line still on the right side as I'm stacking them, because I will have to press all this, and I didn't turn the iron back on. Go figure. So I'm stacking it all to keep everything in the order that I put it in, although it really won't matter if it gets out of order, because what I'm doing doesn't really matter. But if you keep a colorway, then obviously you would want to pay attention to your color order, or to your number order. So now that I have all these stacked like this, I'm going to stick them back up there, because this is piece 1 and piece 2. I would stick it back up there, but instead, because I'm just going to bypass some of these steps, I'm going to keep these right here. So instead of putting it back up there to show you guys, I'm just going to sit right here. I'm going to grab row 3's number 1 piece, which is the farthest. I don't want to turn the camera, because if I do, it might mess up my charging thing and kick me off and screw my screen up. So I'm going to stick this down aside me like this. I'm going to leave this right here so that you can see what I'm doing here. Just tip it down just a little, and I'm going to grab, I showed you from this angle that I'm looking at. I'm considering the farthest left, row 1, the middle, row 2, and the farthest right, row 3. These are from the top, piece 1 and piece 2, not from the closest to me, from the furthest from me. So now I'm going to grab row 3's first piece, which is the farthest right. I do my best to explain this stuff. Okay, so now I have that stack right here. I'm not going to turn it, move it, shift it, or anything. Just going to have it right here. And now I'm going to bring each one of these up and sew it on to the right, not the left. I'm not going to move it, twist it, turn it, or anything. I'm going to sew all these on to the right, just like this. And then I'm going to grab another one, open it up. I'm not pressing anything right now, so I don't feel like turning the iron on, even though it's not very hard to, but it'll go off in 10 minutes anyway. So I'm not turning anything. I'm just picking the piece up, opening it up, placing one of these on. So all of my blue triangles, which is my background color, is all facing the same. Ooh, it's fun. I'm glad I have it facing me. I would have never known that it was doing that. It said reconnecting. Oops. Da, 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 da. Let's see. He has a long arm now. Yeah, it was a gift for him. So that's a cool thing. So he gets to learn that. He should come over and watch my videos so that he can see. His long arm is different though. So, I mean, for the learning of how to do things, he could at least come over and check out some of my stuff because there's a couple things. And I mean, I share with other people's channels the same thing as I learn from their channels. So yeah. Love that purple thing. I know, I love it too. And you guys can thank Michelle for giving this to me because Michelle also gifted me this thing. It randomly showed up in the mail one day and I was like, oh, hey, we're talking about this. Like, she's like, there you go. So that was awesome. That was like 2 years ago now too. I've been on YouTube, for over 7 years, but that was just random videos for my family to see when I would upload. And currently at this very moment, I actually have no idea how long I've been consistently posting on YouTube. I want to find that out too, because I want to know how long I've been making quilting videos. They were really horrible at the beginning too, guys. So it's a good thing you guys only see a year's worth of videos when you look on my page, because anything beyond a year ago, well, actually I'd say anything beyond 2 years ago, is absolutely horrid videos. Like they were in my garage. It was dark in there 90% of the time. And here's these freaking hiccups again. I like to get hiccups all the time lately, like all the time. It is highly annoying. Must be part of my MS. Hi, Ramona. Long time no see. What was I talking about? I was just, my YouTube videos. So I was kind of curious to go back. I've had to do it from the computer though, because I can't tell from on here. I want to go out on the computer and find out how long ago I started consistently making videos, like from my first quilting video, not the one I did for the rulers, because I actually did that before I started quilting videos. Some of you probably saw that and go, oh, that's so awesome. That has a lot of views on it, actually. A lot. Anyways, I want to go back and look when I consistently started posting and consider that my YouTube anniversary date. So that way, when the next time that date comes and it's in a specific year, I'm going to try to do a giveaway every year on that specific time that I started my YouTube. Like a YouTube anniversary giveaway. I think that would be cool, because I was thinking about it, not yesterday. Was it? No, it was the day before yesterday. I was sitting around thinking, I should be posting more videos. That's where today came in, all day of making videos. It's like thinking I should be posting more videos. Wondering how long I've been making videos, because I actually haven't ever paid attention. So I want to go back and see. I want to go back and find out how long I've been making videos. Because my YouTube, if you go to it, it'll say been a member for 7 years. So that doesn't do me no good. I need like an anniversary date to my first video. All right, I'm still sewing these, still sewing. Anybody have anything they want to talk about tonight? Give me a subject. I'll rant on forever about it. I haven't even actually looked how many of you guys are here. Ooh, 15 of you. Look at that. 15 people who cannot sleep. It's a lot of people who can't sleep. The one you did in your bedroom? No, I was doing videos before I started doing videos in my bedroom. So, because my bedroom was like 2 years ago. Because it's almost been, I don't know, it's almost been 2 years since I've been in this room itself. The reason why I know is because of a Facebook. You know how Facebook has, those of you who are on Facebook, sometimes your nude feed, your news feed has memories in it. It'll show you a memory like right before you scroll through the news feed, and in there was a memory of when I moved everything to this room when Maxine moved out. But obviously I didn't take a picture and post it until after I had it nice and cleaned up. And it's moved. Some things have been moved around several times since I even when I did my room tour video, things have been moved around since that too. Because when I first moved into this room, if some of you remember, I actually used to have my desk over where the birthday quilt hangs, is where this desk used to be. And it was kind of like hogging the middle of the room and the floor area. And I wanted to be able to have more floor space. So I moved the desk to this side under the window, thinking I'd have more daytime daylight. But I don't like to keep the window open because then it just sunshine shines through directly onto all this. So that was whatever. I think it's a better angle though right here, honestly. Hi, Aunt B. Okay, Michelle, I'll be here. Open seam or press to the dark and go. Well, I hate open seams. So I always press to the dark or whatever side the fabric wants to go to. Great question. The reason why I don't press open while we're on this subject is because when I'm quilting on an open seam and I'm stitching in the ditch, I have more chances of ripping that seam open and taking a lot of its what's the word for it, kind of unstrengthening that seam, taking the chance of it splitting open and tearing in the future with the quilt, as opposed to it being stitched, the seam going to one side, which is the dark. Because if this way, if I stitch in the ditch along here, usually it's always next to the ditch, it's actually stitching along the seam, instead of stitching in the center of it. Now, if you were pressing open and you're quilting and you're echo ditching, which is stitching a 1/4 inch away from the ditch, then you would be good 100% when quilting it, because if this was open, you'd be stitching on the seam and on the seam that's spread open. But if you're stitching in the center, which is the ditch, then you're taking the chance of splitting that seam open and having future rippage problems, with the quilt. I mean, most people that press open are ones that are entering their quilts into quilt shows, which is what I've learned from going to Quilt Guild. I just press to the dark. I find it easier. Nobody else going to answer what Tammy asked about pressing to the dark or to open? unless you guys are saying it and my screen has not caught up, but I doubt it because it says Aunt B just commented saying hi, Kim and Tiffany. So here's one. Tammy presses to the dark. Here's one after you guys answer all that from Tammy. If we get some answers, press to the dark for Kim, whichever it wants to go for Little B Cross, and presses to the dark. Here's one. To pin or not to pin. Which do you prefer? I don't pin. I choose not to, unless I have to. To pin or not to pin. What do you guys say? Let's see. Okay, I read and my grandma taught me to press open, but it depends on how small pieces are. Joe presses to the dark. Don't press open for the same reason you said. Exactly. And that makes sense. Exactly. It depends on the block. I use clips sometimes, no pins. All right. I'm going to tear these apart, but as they were sewn together is how I want to keep them. So if I take this apart, this is going to be on the bottom. So I'm going to attempt to lay these. I'm going to move my screen for a second so that I can have room to lay these. So I'm going to take it, the next one, and I'm just going to lay it just like this. And the next one, and lay it like that. So I'm just going to lay these exactly how I am taking them off. This is how I keep my chain row piecing together. So I'm going to grab, just keep stacking them, and I'm stacking them next to me. You can see. Just stacking them next to me after I unpin, what the word is, as soon as I take them apart. As soon as I break the thread. There's the word. See, I have issues. Let's see. Okay, we're at, it depends on the block. Use clips, no pins. Okay, Tammy pins when necessary. Pamela doesn't pin. Anne's hands all jacked up from RA, so cut corners when I can. Let's see. Joe pins if necessary. That's kind of like me. I kind of find it necessary, especially with diamonds. Diamonds are probably the only necessary pinning needed. Let's see. Sin Forest. Hello, everyone. Dropping in from T Quilts to say hi. Glad to find some other night owls. I lean to the dark side. Well, welcome from over on T Quilt's channel. We kind of share a lot of the same subscribers, so I'm usually there when she's there, and she comes over here when she can. You know, we have all the same subscribers, so I try not to like go on channels that have the same subscribers with me. I try not to do live feeds at the same time they're doing live feeds, but today I really had to get things done, so that's why I left. So yeah. All right, so I'm going to turn the camera and I'll finish reading these in 2 seconds. So here's my stack. This is exactly how I pulled it up. They're going to get open like this, right? So I am going to just pick this up and I'm going to lay it back up here, and I'm going to show you. It is now laid back up here. So if this was open, it is now in the same order. So now I'm going to take these two, which is row 1 and row 2, and I'm going to sew these together. And then when I'm done, I'll sew this third piece on. Same with these next ones. I'm just going to do these two, keep chain right back into the order they were originally in. So I'm going to do all these, and then when I snip the threads apart, then it goes from the bottom, because that would be the last piece, back to the top again. So the top will be in the order that I originally had laid it out. So I'm going to take these now, sew these together, and then add this. And then again, I'll grab these. So I'm just showing you guys how this works. And then when all is said and done, I will just sew all the rows together, and then maybe I'll decide to press if I feel like it. Because you know me, I'm like, I skip too many steps. All right, let's bring this back up here because now I can. Leave that right there. Okay, let's go back to this pinning thing real quick. All right, let's see. What do we cross? Usually do not pin. Sends lazy, no pin unless you really need it. That's kind of me. I'm like a little bit of all of you guys. I just kind of do my own thing though most of the time. And B, no puns unless I'm tacking instead of quilting. Hi, Sin. Let's see. You have been quilting for 5 years. How do you know or decide quilting was for you? Okay, let me answer that in just a second. Sin is a new subby. Welcome. Shirley presses open or to the dark side, depending on the block she's making. Pin if I feel necessary. Quilting for the sew. Hello again, Sarah. And Michelle's back from taking her shot. Okay, Tammy. So yes, I've been quilting for 5 years. How it started, and I'll tell you guys this quick story. Let me get this cord to cooperate with me. I don't want it to yank. That's my problem. Since I'm going to be sitting here a while, it shouldn't yank. There we go. Don't fall. Okay. So here is the quick and easy story version. So I started quilting a couple years ago, 5 to be exact now. And I'm on year 5. I haven't quilted fully 5 years, but I'm on year 5. It's been like 4 and I don't know, more than 3/4 of a year. And one day out of the blue, I was on, I think it was Pinterest. Honestly, I can't remember if it was Pinterest or Facebook or what I was actually on. Honestly, I literally go back and forth with Scott. I don't remember exactly what I was on, but I was looking and I saw a picture of a quilt. And I had a sewing machine. So I'm thinking to myself, I could do that. I want to make a quilt. So I stopped every other thing I've been ever doing. Like, well, I had to stop motorcycle riding. I was still kind of riding my motorcycle when I started quilting, but the MS took my legs more and more. And every time I went out on the motorcycle, it was horrible. Like I couldn't hold myself up. And I rode a crotch rocket, street bike, not like a Harley or anything. So the bike is pretty darn heavy. And the way they're made, it made it even more awkward for me to hold up. So I traded in motorcycles for quilting pretty much. I was thinking to myself, okay, I can make a quilt, but I didn't have fabric and I didn't have anything. I had sheets. So I took old sheets. I had thread. I had a little box of thread because I used to, have to, stitch holes in clothes. And I had a sewing machine, an old Brother, like from the 1984-ish Brother sewing machine. And I decided to use scissors because I didn't have a rotary cutter. I didn't have a mat. I didn't have any of that. I didn't have any of the gadgets I have now. Like, can you believe all this is in this room after only that short a time? You'd think I'd have been doing this for a long time, but I haven't. So I took the sheet and it was kind of like a striped almost fabric. So it was easy to cut up and turn different ways to make it look different. I didn't know anything about no 1/4 inch seam allowance. I didn't know anything about pressing. I didn't know anything about anything. I just knew that I can make a quilt. So I chopped all the sheet up into a bunch of squares and then turned them all around and sewed them all together with, some 1/4 inch seams, some 1/2 inch seams, some 3/4 inch seams. Like, I was really, really, really bad. Really bad. But I persevered. I made a quilt. I even used the decorative stitching on my machine that I had at the time to spell my son's name because I decided my son was going to get it. So when I was quilting it, I wrote the name Damon in the quilting on it with decorative stitches. And I didn't know that I needed a special foot. I had the feed dogs up, didn't know they go down, didn't know any of that. So I'm literally shoving it through trying to spell a name. I didn't know what to use for batting or anything. I just bought some batting at the store and said, oh, hey, this is good. Okay. It was horrible. I was bad. And to this day, my son still loves it. It turned out lap size because I think it was like twin size sheets that I cut up. Maybe it was full size. They had twin size and full size beds. Like they had a twin up top bunk and a full size bottom bunk. So it was sheets from one of them. I don't remember, but either way, I chopped it all up with scissors, sewed it all back together, and made a quilt. When I realized that I can do that, I did it again and again and again until I started using fabric that I was picking up here, there, and everywhere. And I was using anything I can get my hands on. I had some stretchy fabric that I had tried to make some clothes out of years ago and just started sewing things together. And then I found YouTube. What a difference YouTube made. I started watching Missouri Star Quilt Company and Jordan Fabrics at first. And then I found everybody else in between then and now. And yeah, I learned a lot of things, but I also kind of just picked up my own flow. Like I do things my own way. And I'm very, very OCD about my room. Like everything is in its spot. And even though I move it, everything is now in its spot. And it's going to stay there and everything's marked. You know, I try to mark, you guys have seen, I mark my fabric with how much is there. And some people don't even do that. I am definitely, I keep all my pre-cuts and stuff because, you know, but ever since, I don't know, like the first year into it, because I wasn't following patterns and I didn't know about YouTube and all that stuff. I don't know, maybe that was the first 6 months into it. I started designing my own stuff. So I was like, I could design a pattern. As soon as I learned about quarter and seam allowance and this and that and this and that, that's when designing took off and I started making things. So yeah. Long story short, I'm here now. I decided I wanted to teach it because I don't know, I guess I learned really quickly. A couple of the ladies that are in the quilt guild here locally have told me plenty of times, they're like, you're so good. You have surpassed people that have been doing this 30 years. And I kind of take that as like a big compliment because it's pretty awesome that I caught on so quick. And even though I take so many things out of it, I don't get up and press. I don't do this and I don't do that. I skip so many steps. I still manage to have a flat quiltable quilt that turns out amazing. And then to me, it makes me feel good knowing that I'm not a perfectionist at it by no means, but I definitely take pride in the fact that I caught on so well and I should have been doing this all my life. I don't know why I wasn't. Maybe someone should have showed me a quilt when I was 4 or 5 years old so that I would have wanted to start doing it then, but I'm the only quilter in my family, so there was nobody to teach me. I knew how to use a sewing machine though. Let's see, where was I? Okay, I read those. Do you have your first quilt? No, my son has it. I posted a picture of it in the Facebook group. If you're in the Facebook group, it should be in some of the beginning posts from me. I had to get a picture. I think I don't know where, if my son came over or what and held it up, but there is a picture of my first quilt. And it's absolutely horrible. I didn't even know about binding. Like I just threw the fabric from one side to the other and decorative stitched to close it. It's horrible, let me tell you. And my second quilt is out on the living room floor. It's horrible too. It's being used as like a play mat on the floor because it's horrible. But one of these days, if you guys remind me in a live stream one of these days, I can show it to you. The difference between then and now is definitely like I went from sad, don't ever gift one of these kind of things type quilting to, oh my God, people actually come to me and want me to design them a quilt. So I went from horrible to awesome. And I'm proud that I have accomplished that, definitely. So I gave up motorcycles for this. And you know what? This is way awesomer. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved going really fast on the highway. 140 to 160 miles an hour. Can't beat nothing. You know what I mean? But I couldn't hold my bike up. So, you know, there was no point in keeping it. So this hobby has now become a passion. I love it. I love to teach what I've learned, and the things I'm still learning. I like to teach those things too. And the coolest part is I have all of you guys. Like, I would have never thought I would know so many people around the world. It is a blessing to have so many friends. You guys keep me, because I have MS, you know, I do my best to keep from getting depressed and stuff. But having you guys there and being able to come on and chat and be silly, and you guys can see my life and hang out with me, and I can chat and interact and show you things and answer questions and teach you guys. That makes me feel so happy that I don't think I would ever, as long as I'm doing this, ever suffer from depression, because you guys keep me on my toes. Because I'm always pondering, what should I do next? What should my next video be? Or I'll go ask Scott, should I go live today? And he'll be like, oh yeah, you should go say hi to your fans. So that's pretty cool. It may not be a big channel, but to me, you guys make me feel like this is the biggest channel on YouTube. That's how you make me feel, if that makes any sense at all. You guys make me feel awesome. So I'm glad that you guys are here. I'm glad I found this to teach you guys, and I'm glad I have enough fabric to keep going. Except for backing fabric. I need backing fabric. All right, let's see. Thanks for sharing. I started with both of them too. Great story. Gave my first quilt to my mom. Yeah, my first quilt that was not good enough for my son. Wanted it when he saw me making it. Surprisingly too, it was kind of weird. And he's like, Mom, I want that. That's really cool. And yeah, then about, I don't know, 6 months later, when I was good enough, I made him a better quilt. So it doesn't top his first quilt, which is horrible, but he still loves it. But his second quilt is just half square triangles, kind of like what I'm doing here, but I created the chevron. And that was from watching Missouri Star Quilt Company. And then CJ got a quilt, and Lexa got a quilt. Alexa got, because I was still learning, Alexa got Around the World, because that's half square triangles. CJ got, I still, to this day, I tried to tell you guys last night, it's Illusion. I think it's called the Illusion quilt. It was Illusion blocks. I think that's what it's called. They're 3D looking. They look like they're popping out at you. I think it's Illusion is what it is. And then Maxine got, what did I make Maxine? Oh my goodness, I got to think about that one. I'll have to think about that. What did I give her? It's a Missouri Star one. Holy moly, what did I make Maxine? I don't know. It's red and black and white. That's all I know. I'd actually have to go on to Missouri Star Quilt Company and look at their old videos, because I can't remember. I can remember all the other kids, but I can't remember Maxine. It's because Maxine, Susanna, that's what it is. I made Maxine the Susanna, like I was really getting daring. I moved from half square triangles to piecing blocks. And then from then on, I just was obsessed. And then, yeah. And then Maxine saw this panel that hangs up here on the wall. It's the footprints in the sand poem. And she saw that panel when I got donated a bunch of stuff. And she's like, oh, I want that, Mom. Can you just not add anything to it and quilt it? So that's where free motion quilting came in. Well, I was already trying, but I was getting so much better. And you know what? I did really good on the free motion quilting on this. And I would show you, but I can't get the camera too close. But I did really good on that. I was surprised. And that's where the whole long arming thing came in too, is I was able to do this. And I thought, you know, and I saw long arms and I played with one at the quilt show and I was like thinking, I can do this. And then I was playing with it and I'm like, I was able to spell my name. I put Tiffany was here. And the lady looked at me like, oh, what long arm do you have? Or, you know, what are you looking to get? Or how long have you been long arming? And I'm like, this was my first attempt. So I convinced Scott, but I was only able to afford a mid arm. So I had the Juki on a frame and I absolutely hated it. Oh my God. And then I outgrew the whole entire ordeal anyway. Convinced him to let me get an actual long arm, which that was all the recent stuff because that was not last year, but technically the year before because I got it in 2018 in October of 2018. So yeah, I've been surpassing myself, my own like world of quilting, I guess, in some ways. Hi, Brenda. Good night. Sin, I guess, is what it would be. I have my, let's see, gotta go early tomorrow. Okay, I saw that. Okay, nighty night, good night, good night. Where am I at? All right. I have my first quilt. It's awful. I had to fight for one of my grandmother's quilts. I don't count and mark my fabrics. I do. You're an awesome girlfriend. Let's see, Kim, I have my first quilt to my mom. It now belongs to my oldest daughter. My second went to my aunt, and I've made so many cents. Both daughters have embroidered quilts. Hi, Jill. That's awesome, Kim. Here, there's a question for you guys. Who has your first quilt? Since I answered, you guys can tell me who has your guys' first quilts. All right, so Sarah's is her grandson. Kim started in 1986 after watching Eleanor Burns. I got to meet Eleanor Burns and hang out with her. But I didn't know she existed until, you know, I started watching YouTube channels. Where was I? Jill's grandson has her first quilt. Great niece who is your great niece who is 2 weeks old got my first quilt. Oh yeah, because you just started, Anne, and that's really awesome that you were able to make all the stuff that you made for her to get all of your your first beginning stuff. And you really jumped right in too. Kind of like me. Like as soon as I realized what I was doing, I jumped right in. I jumped right into a lot. And I never once got overwhelmed either. It's crazy. Like people started donating me stuff, you know, friends, family, and people around town. And yeah, because I don't remember why, you know, my husband or me or somebody started asking somebody who told somebody else who told somebody else. And then I just started getting donations of fabric from people. And that's how all the fabric hoarding came into play. Let's see. Brenda's first was the owl quilt with valance that I showed you for my granddaughter. So that wasn't very long ago either, was it for you, Brenda? And yeah, it's a pinwheel quilt. And then Shirley's was the first. First was a double bedside kaleidoscope quilt. Whoa. My youngest daughter still has it. That's a lot to do a I haven't even done a kaleidoscope quilt yet. So you got me topped on that. I haven't done one. All right. Good night, Aunt B. Let's see. And I wanted to quilt for like 15 years. Been collecting supplies for past 2 years. And when I heard my nephew was having the first girl in our family in 11 years, I knew it was time. Oh yeah, definitely time. So you've been doing it for 5 years, Brenda. So pretty much about the same time as me. All right, I have 2 more to do, this one and another, and then I can add the next piece. I could also keep all these chain pieces together instead of breaking them apart. But then I'd have double snips, and I don't want to have to do double snipping, so I'll just leave them, snip them all apart. No big deal. All right, so again, I'm going to do the same thing. Bottom one. And just stack them like this. I'm not going to turn them. I'm always going to stack them, making sure that my stitching is on the right. This is how I keep my chain piecing in order for when I make, especially when I'm making more complicated blocks. I actually do it just the same way. I piece all of row 1, all of row 2, and all of row 3, and or I chain piece everything and make a bunch of webbed piles. I'm not doing that right now because I don't want to confuse anybody. Every time my nails hit this, it's like a weird sound. I hope it's not annoying any of you. I can't stop it. It's very hard to not hit the table with my nails. All right, so here's my stack. This is the middle section of row 1 and 2. Now I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to grab row 3's middle pile, put it right here, and again, sew all these on. So all of these are still facing the same direction. I still have not cut off anything. Well, you guys would have saw that. I still have all the dog ears on here. They're not going to be in the way of anything when I press either. It should be just fine. All right, so now I'm just going to chain sew all these. Tammy's also for 5 years. Shirley made her first quilt in 1992 and daughter still uses it. I love you, and I'm so proud of how far you have grown in this short time. Aw, thank you, Michelle. I love you too. I love all of you. I'm proud of myself too. I'm not trying to be conceited or anything, but I mean, seriously, I think I have managed quite a few things, and I've even won awards. Like, seriously, I'm an award winner. I need to start making more quilts that I can enter into shows, because remember I told you guys in my like an about me video, one of my goals is to make quilts to enter to shows of the patterns that I have designed so that my patterns get out there. I don't want to be the one that calls all those companies and says, hey, do you need somebody else to write patterns for you? I'm available. You know, I don't want to be the one that calls all these companies and get denied. I want them to seek me out and say, hey, we saw this pattern. Would you like to write patterns for us? Because remember, that's my goal, is to write patterns and sell them, as well as other things. I have lots of goals. I want my quilts in the movies. I've said that before too. Reason. You guys ever watched a movie or a TV show? There's lots of them, trust me. And there is a quilt. Once you become a quilter, you realize this. There is quilts on the walls. There is quilts on beds. There are quilts on table runners. You know, there are quilts absolutely everywhere in all sorts of movies and TV shows. Some are made, purposely made to look old and tattered. Some are, you know, just made out of ugly to make it look like that was that first person in the TV show's first quilt. You know, that it just, I want to be the one that has a big, huge selection in a stockroom of quilts that I have made. And then the company calls me and says, hey, do you have one that's in grays and greens? Because those are the colors that are on our set. And we want a quilt like, just in those colors. And I can say, oh, yeah, I have one. Would you like to rent it for your TV show or buy it for your TV show? I want to be that person. I want my quilts to be in TV shows. I don't know how to get them in the TV shows, but I want my quilts in the TV shows, or to make custom quilts for TV shows and programs, because I tend to be able to throw a quilt together pretty darn quick. So I think it wouldn't be that hard to, our show's coming out in 2 weeks, to have a quilt done in 2 weeks kind of thing. But yeah, ever since I started quilting, it's in every show, every TV show. There's a quilt somewhere, somehow, and all sorts of movies. There isn't really that many quilts in futuristic movies, but there's quilts in a lot of movies. A lot. So I want to be that person. You just put it out there. Don't be surprised when it happens. I put it out there all the time. I think 2 or 3 other videos I've told you guys my goals with this whole quilting journey, besides teaching. Like, I really love to teach. I would love to be able to travel and teach classes at quilt shops and stuff. But unfortunately, due to having MS, that's going to be one of the problems that stops me from those kind of things. So I don't know. If I was really, really well known with my local guild, maybe, I could start doing that for people who come here for visits from out of town to be taught by me. But because I have MS, it's hard to leave the house, and it's actually really, really, really hard to stay on a schedule, as you guys have noticed with my YouTube channel. Absolutely no schedule. Sunday is scheduled, sort of, but it's not like I come on exactly at 5. Sometimes it's 5:05. Sometimes it's 4:59. There's no exact schedule with that. I don't even pre-plan the videos. Like, I don't make a coming up video where you guys can click on like most YouTubers. I don't do that. I just come on. Hopefully you get the notification, or you see me when you're scrolling through YouTube. Unfortunately, that would be my downfall for teaching elsewhere. Even though I want to, I won't be able to, is because I can't keep a schedule, because I don't know how I'm going to feel is my problem. I don't know if I'm going to have a bad day or a good day. I don't know if my bad day is going to turn into a good day, or my good day is going to turn into a bad day. I don't know any of that in advance. So it's hard to plan things around that kind of never knowing. And I don't know how long I'll be walking. My doctor said a couple years ago, I don't see you walking longer than 2 more years. I've surpassed the 2 years, but I do have my days where I wish I didn't have legs because they hurt so bad. I want to chop them off, and obviously I would never walk again. So, I mean, I don't know. So I don't know how some of the things I want to do are ever going to happen. So for now, I have my YouTube. I guess that's good enough. But we'll see. Maybe I can, just do local stuff and hope that it's planned in a short period of time. That way I'm still good. Okay, I'll go. Okay, I saw that. When I lived in Chicago, a small furniture store asked me to dress their beds with a quilt and pillows. Oh, that's awesome, Pamela. See, and I was thinking about asking, because you know how staging homes, a lot of realtors, I don't think here as much though. I think big cities do, but here I don't think so. But I know that some realtors stage homes for them to be for sale. That's also another place that the quilts can go. They can come rent a quilt for the house, for the staging, for photos or something, because staging also helps people purchase homes. If you make sense, it makes real good sense, because most people walk into a home, and if there's nothing on the walls and nothing on the floor and there's no furniture, you're like, you really, really contemplate on how you're going to organize or decorate. But if there's a bed in front of a specific wall, it gives you a general idea on how the rest of the furniture can go. And, or if there is if there is stuff on the walls, oh, that's the perfect wall for that painting, because that painting is that size, so staging homes is actually a really good idea. But not very many realtors do it around here. Not that we've seen. There was like 2 or 3 staged homes when we were house shopping, and this was over 7 years ago. But staged homes would be a good thing for some of my quilts to go to, just get loaned out for that. It's not like they're being used, so they're not going to get ruined, hopefully, But they could just rent my quilts for stuff like that, I guess, for just a small price. I mean, I'm not like trying to whatever, or they can just buy them from me and let it be done. You could go on a quilting cruise. I would go. Okay, I told you guys this before. My husband and I have been planning to go on a cruise for a very long time. The thing is, the reason why we're going to start with a small one, like say 3 days down to Mexico and back, like, or 7 days the California coast. We want to start with something small that doesn't go far from home. Reason for that is because I don't want to be on a cruise ship, and then because of the most ridiculous thing, seasickness, whatever, I don't know. I've been on boats, plenty of them. I've never been seasick, but you never know. Something will happen. I'll eat bad food, or I'll have something I shouldn't have had, and I cannot bring my medications that I would need for that. There would be something just stupid is going to happen, and I'm going to be bedridden the rest of the time on the trip. That is the only thing I'm worried about. And my thing is if I'm up all day one day, moving around, walking around, doing things, especially like if I go shopping or something, and I spend the day constantly, consistently busy, I end up down the next day. That's a big thing. And if I go on a cruise ship, that first day I'm going to be so excited, and I'm going to go around and see all the things on the cruise ship and blah, 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 blah. And the next day I'm going to be pooped. I won't want to move. I won't want to get out of bed. So Scott says, let's try a small cruise first. And then if the small cruise works, we'll try a longer one, see what happens. And then if we aren't broke by then, because cruises are a little expensive depending on where you're going and what you're doing, then he already agreed to, as long I can go on a quilting cruise with him, as long as the cruise ship has a gym for the husbands that he can work out, and an all you can eat buffet. He don't care what kind of cruise we go on, and he don't care if he spends all the time with me or not with me, because as long as it has activities for him, he's cool. But the reason why he would have to come is because in case something happens to me, it's nice to have him there. I don't want to be stuck on a cruise ship for like, say, 7 days out at sea quilting or something, on one of those kind of cruise ships. And then something happened to me and I don't have anyone to take care of me, because sometimes when I have attacks, they are bad. They are so bad that Scott has to pick me up and carry me. Yeah. Or my arms and legs will shake so bad that I can't even wipe my own ass. It's bad. Let me tell you, having MS is horrible. And it's very, very unpredictable. So that's why we haven't gone on a cruise, but I would love to. Definitely. Where are we? Okay. That's awesome, Pam. Okay, let's see. And they have a quilting cruise. Yes, I just said that. We're super lucky to have me. Aw, too many people wanted to buy the quilts, but I didn't want it to become a job instead of a fun thing to do. That one's an iffy one for me, Pamela. Because I do this as a job. Well, it's not a full-time job, so I don't know how you would consider it. Because most of the people that come to me, this is what makes it good then. Most of the people that come to me just let me be creative. So that's why it's still fun for me. So if people came to me and just let me do my thing, and since I'm the one designing the patterns, you know what I'm saying? Even though it's a job, I'm still the designer. I'm still having fun making it. So I don't think I would get burnout on my fun thing to do, hobby or whatever, just because I'm making a little bit extra money on it. You know what I mean? Because I still make a little bit extra. I don't even make a little bit extra money. I barely make anything. 0.0 $0.000, if anything. Usually all the money is spent on all the supplies. That's pretty much how it ends up being. I mean, maybe I make $5-10. Either way, I think since I have free will to do my own thing, they just give me their idea of color choice, or like the pug quilt. They say, I want pugs. They don't care as long as there's pugs. So I just do my own thing. They don't care anything else as long as there's pugs. I don't have to update anyone on anything. Technically, I'm not on this one anyway, on pug quilt, because I'm not supposed to show that one. But, you know, you guys get the hint. It doesn't, I don't think it would affect me doing it for, as like a money thing, especially if it's for having a stock room filled with quilts. Like Missouri Star Quilt Company probably has a stock room filled with quilts. Like what do they do with all that? Do they donate them all? Because technically they're making 2 quilts. They're making the quilt they made to hang up behind them to show, and then they're making that second quilt to show how they made the one hanging behind them. If you think about it, what do they do with all those quilts? I've always wondered. And Jordan Fabrics, she gives all her quilts away. We know that. They give the older quilts away as the videos progress. So that's really cool. So, but people that have that many or make that many quilts, a quilt a week, because those tutorial channels make a quilt a week, technically 2 for Missouri Star, but with all that, that's a stock room full of quilts. There's a lot of movies out there. They can contact those kind of people and say, hey, we need quilts. So if I have a stock room filled with quilts, people can contact me and say we need a quilt, and I'll have one. I don't mind that being a job, making quilts and selling them to companies or whatever. I don't mind it. You can do weekends, a big, huge cabins, and we could all do class or sew our own stuff. That would be fun. You know, here I'm gonna go into future thoughts. Like, I think all the time about things, and I'm gonna okay, so you guys know how T with T Quilts does retreats, and she sets it up for you guys to, you know, whoever's in the retreat, for the people that want to join. She says, okay, I've got, say, 20 spaces. She does retreats like that. I was thinking of doing that, except it would be local here. So you guys would not only get the experience of quilting and hanging out with me and learning something new, but I live on a lake. I don't live on the lake, but I live on a lake. So no matter where you are in town, out whatever, doing anything, you're less than 5 minutes from the lake. So wherever I was to get a hotel for all of you guys to come to, and, you know, get a room and blah 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 to sew in, it's all next to the lake. So we wouldn't always have to, we could sit outside and sew in front of the lake. Like, seriously, it would be fun. You know, I've also told my husband, in the future, when I get old and wrinkly and I'm still quilting, that I think we should buy a really big, huge house, you know, sell this one, buy a really big, huge house. And since I'm going to have no kids, because all my kids are already grown and moved out, except for one, but in the future, when I'm old, they'll be done. Buy a really, really big house that has, like, say, 8 bedrooms, put 2 beds in each room, and have my own quilting retreat house and live in it. Wouldn't that be awesome? So I can always have people in and out of my house. He said, nah. He's like, why would you want to do that? He's like, you would always have people. We'd never get rid of anybody, because all you guys would be doing is be old lady quilters. He didn't like the idea, but I like the idea. And that's just me thinking for, you know, my future when I'm old and still probably doing this. Let's see, you can do online classes. This is online classes. I don't want to set up any more internet stuff. I really suck at technology. Let's just say that. Technology and Tiffy do not get along. You know, I know how to use YouTube, and it is a good thing that I can go mobile now, because the computer has changed. YouTube changed all their go live stuff from the computer. It's not a beta version anymore. It's something else. And for the life of me, I don't even know how to use it. I mean, I know how to start it, but it doesn't go to my channel. I don't know how to fix it to my channel. I don't know how to do that. I am not technical at all. Technology hates me. Absolutely hates me. And rented a power scooter. Used it. Always saved my energy. You have to. Oh, okay. That would probably be weird. Losing battery. Good night. All right, Tammy. Good night. Sorry, I keep everyone on so long. I could be sewing when talking, but I have no peripheral vision, so I can't make sure I'm actually sewing what I'm sewing, which kind of sucks. Oh, my thing's talking to me. I gotta check this because it's talking to me. Oh, it's sort of still good. Sort of still good. Clear. Okay. So yeah, I have a lot of plans for my future. Don't know if they'll ever happen. Don't know if I'll ever get to any of it. Don't know if anybody will ever realize that I'm here. I mean, big for like movies and stuff like that. You know, some of the things that I want to do. So many activities. I'd never be able to do them all on a cruise, like 7 to 10 days. It's a new world where I'm not sure we can ever be that close together. Good thing we weren't on cruises that had issues. They wouldn't know how to take us. Yeah. Sorry, my grandson was text. Hi, Sonut. Let's see. Jill says hello, hello, hello. Trunk shows. That would have to be local to me though, because I mean, I can go within my county. I can also go to California. Like I've been to Michelle's house in Bakersfield, California. My mom lives in California. I mean, I can go that far and be fine. When it comes to staying more than a day, I'm not fine because I don't sleep the whole time I'm there. Last time I was at my mom's house and went to Michelle's house, I was there for 3 days and I was awake all 3 days. And I start to get, I don't get delirious really bad, not until like 7 days. But I start to get like fidgety. I smoke more. I am anxious more. I run out of, I don't know, my brain doesn't run on its normal firing rods in there. It changes. So, I mean, I can go places and do things. I've drove all the way to Texas and back before. And I mean, I can go and do things, but I can't stay long. That's my problem. That's why we haven't done any cruises, because I have a hard time staying gone long. It's that need to come back home, you know, because I sleep in my own bed. I want to eat my own food from my own refrigerator. I want to go potty on my own toilet. I mean, I'm seriously I like my own thing. And I know that here in my home, if I get weak and I get tired, or if I'm in my hometown, you know, I can just turn the car around and come home. I can't do that when I'm far away. And it's not like I'm scared to go anywhere. I would love to. I'm supposed to go to Kentucky in the spring, but that's not going to happen if this coronavirus crap doesn't go away. So unfortunately, those kind of plans are temporarily on hold. Good thing I didn't buy no ticket or anything to go on a plane. So yeah, I mean, I can travel and do things. I just, I don't know. I just haven't. Kim is listening and working on something. Ah, it's okay. I kind of figured you were going to be sewing, Kim. That would be very fun. A bed and breakfast like that. That's what I'm thinking. That was the words I was looking for. Thank you, Brenda. I couldn't get that out. Like instead of calling it a bed and breakfast, it would be a bed, quilt and beds, quilts and beds, beds on quilts. It would be something quilting related. It would be kind of cool, you know. Quilt and breakfast. It would call it eat, sleep, quilt. Quilt, eat, sleep, repeat. that would be it. The name has already been used on plenty of things, but that would be what my kind of place would be. Be nothing but quilting everything. It'd be like sewing machines in all the rooms, so you wouldn't have to leave the room if you didn't want to leave the room. I would have like a whole entire living room, or what they would call main room or whatever, all filled with sewing machines, different kinds too, so everybody can swap machines. That would be cool. So say, well, I want to try this Brother machine, or I want to try out the Juki, or I want to try out the Bernina, or I want to try out this Pfaff, you know, like there would be so many choices. And then there would be the long arm room, more than one long arm. We'd have to have a gamble, and we can have like, you know, to where you can sample them to know when you go home, you can beg your husbands and say, hey, I really, really liked this machine when I was on my vacation. Can I get one? They're only $25,000. That would be fun. It would be fun. Am I out a bobbin? Almost. It always does that when I'm running out of bobbin. Be right back. Thank goodness for my techie boys. I'm not tech savvy either. See, my kids are kind of, but they're not YouTubers, so they don't know what I'm doing in that department either. And they're not pattern writers, so they don't know what I'm doing in that department either. They're teenagers. Teenagers know how to use every brand of cell phone before it even comes on the market. So, I mean, they know those things, but doesn't mean they know everything that we're trying to do. Never give up on your dreams, and don't wait until you are old to make them come true. Well, some things I do have to wait until I'm old, because we don't have a retirement plan and we don't make no money. I need to make money to be able to afford to do the things that my dreams have in the store. I need to sell my quilts is what I need to do to be able to make more quilts, so that I can at least get more of my patterns out there and my name. I mean, my name is out there for you guys. I meant like with other people, and you know. And I'm not really designing too much lately. I'm actually trying to just slow down just a little, because I do have a lot of quilts that need to be quilted. I need to get all that kind of stuff done and out of the way, so that I can get back to writing more patterns. Or actually, I should say scribbling in my reading abilities only, because you guys cannot read my scribbles. That's why I just teach you guys the stuff and tell you the numbers in the videos, because if I was to write a pattern, like really, really write it like I did, there's a lot of run-on sentences and no punctuation, and yeah, it's just funny. Just funny. I wrote a couple in PDF form, and it's hard to describe without adding the pictures. There's where needing to know tech things are, as you know, because I don't know how to use Word or whatever that stupid program is that I need to write a pattern. Oh yeah. Plus, I usually figure out some things by making them, and then I show you guys. So some of the patterns that I write, I actually have to make them to get the right measurements, because I don't have a program that tells me the next measurement, and I suck at math. I really suck at math. Maybe I should have paid better attention in high school, but I didn't. I should have, but I didn't. Let's see. Good night for everyone going to bed. All right, Sarah, see you next time. Brenda said, let someone else do the cooking and cleaning. Everybody else does do the cooking and cleaning around here. I cook when I feel like cooking. That's my thing. I don't cook all the time, only when I feel like it. All right. So here is this stack now. I'm just going to leave them like this, and I'm just going to throw them over there. I'm going to grab the next set. Maybe this time I can actually get them all sewn, because I have been on here for an hour and I'm like talking about everything. Trying to read more is what I'm trying to do. Maybe I should put this in front of me instead now. I could see it better every time I look up instead of looking to the side. Makes it a little easier for me, because now I just have to sew this row and everything else is out of my way. Okay, so see what I say? That sound ran out of bobbin. I told you guys better than most people know their machines. Like, oh shoot, I do have to roll at least 2 bobbins real quick. It just makes the sound changes, 5 minutes or so before a bobbin runs out. Hold on, what was I doing? Oh, I was cleaning this pile up right here. All right, so let's snip this. I don't know, it just starts making this weirder sound. It's like a less duller sound, like the bobbin sounds empty or turning empty. All right, so while I'm rolling, I will read. Let's see, okay, think about a quilting weekend meetup. I would come, and I bet many would be a laugh, and you can go home and sleep in your bed. I could. I mean, rent a whole bed and breakfast. Get a price for each. You come and teach your patterns. Let the place do all the hard work. Oh, okay, like that. Yeah, I could do that, but we don't have bed and breakfasts where I live in Havasu. We do have rich people houses. Like, and when I say rich people houses, I'm talking about, $1 million mansions on a golf course. Those probably have enough rooms for me to host some kind of, gathering. But I doubt that they would like the fact that I have, 20 people coming to stay. I'm gonna have to go grab another water. All right, guys, after I chop this real quick, I am going to put this in here, and I'm going to leave the room for 2 seconds and quietly go through my house and grab a water out of the fridge real quick. And then I'll be right back. I'm not going to bother taking you guys with me because that's just dumb, because you won't be able to see because it's dark in my house. All right, I'll be back in just like literally 30 seconds or less. So be right back, okay? If I can get out of this area without tripping. Back. Ugh. Whew. I didn't run through the house, but I speed walked. Quietly, because I'm in my wonderful socks. Hold on, let's get this up here, because you guys probably haven't seen me wearing these ones yet. My wonderful socks from a subscriber. I think it was Kim. Kim, did you send me these ones? Maybe it was, yeah, it was Kim, I think, that sent me these ones. Aren't they adorable? They got owls. They're slippery too. I'll speed walk through the house and I almost fell on my ass. Scott said that earlier too. He's like, wait. And I went to stop and I like slid across the floor because I just walk around in socks. Sometimes I wear my house slippers, but sometimes I don't. And yeah, I was slipping and sliding just now in my cool socks. Be fine. Most chain hotels have conference rooms, and we could all chip in for the rental. Yeah, I know that. That's what our local guild uses, a conference room at one of the hotels here, and it's a really big conference room. I wouldn't none of us would be able to afford one of the bigger hotels. We'd have to do one of the smaller name hotels, because like the London Bridge Resort is super duper expensive. Like even a room is super duper expensive because it's right on the beach. But there are other ones that are just like right down the street, so that are cheaper. But yeah, some of the bigger named hotels around here are very expensive. So the rooms, like we went to a wedding one time at one of the conference type rooms, you know, the get together gathering rooms at one of the hotels. And the dad person of the bride was telling us, this room costed me blah 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 blah. And oh, I am so mad that then they tried to scream me because they needed extra time to clear up all the wedding stuff. And oh, they're charging him a second day because of that. And he was just livid. He was like, yeah. So I know that a quilting retreat at a hotel like that, you guys each paying like $200 and something for a room. Yeah, that's not happening. Nope. That's just retarded. I would rather save money because we won't be in the rooms very often. We would be quilting. So there's no point whatsoever in an expensive hotel. All right, let's get back to this. And here comes a burp. Hold on. I try to hold them back. Hiccups and burping. My night meds make me gassy and belchy and all that. Just in case any of you have ever noticed and were curious that I burp a lot and stuff. I do get the hiccups a lot lately, but I don't know why I get those. So, all right, where are we? Okay, let's see. So who here would be interested in a weekend with a class or just sew our own stuff? I love meetups. Have to Google the closest B&B in your area. See, I don't think there is. You guys, if you guys have a computer to Google right now, if one of you feels like it, Google a B&B in Lake Havasu City, Arizona, and see if anything comes up. The closest to me that has anything that resembles that kind of stuff would be Vegas, probably. And that's pretty far. And Jill is in California. Well, I'm in Lake Havasu, Arizona, for all of those that are new to my channel and curious. I worked at Holiday Inn in Craig, Colorado several years ago, and we had 2 quilt groups come in, and they are wonderful. That's what is it Holiday Inn? I think it's the Holiday Inn here that the Quilt Guild uses. I'm glad you wear them. Yes. See, I knew they were from you. Sometimes I get things and I don't remember the littler items, because I know sometimes people send me so many things in one box and I'm like, where did it come from? Like the seam ripper. I don't remember who sent the purple one. I'm not sure. I'll figure it out someday when I remember. I don't know. Sometimes I don't remember. Sometimes I do. Let's see. I'm glad. Okay, I saw that. Jill, Kim is in Missouri. Has anyone heard of an app called Zoom? I think it's like FaceTime, but like conference calling where you can see everyone talking. I didn't know that, Shirley, but on Facebook Messenger, it's hard to understand everybody if everybody just talks one person at a time. But on Facebook Messenger, you can add up to like 10 people into a call, because I do that. Well, I was doing that a lot with a lot of my friends that are here. We would do Facebook face chat calls, and we would face call someone else into the call, and it's really hard to have more than 3 people in a call because nobody can get a word in otherwise. So that's what makes it a little bit on the harder side. I gotta check my charger's saying as I'm charging very well. I better hurry up and sew. Let's see, it'd be nice to have a jacuzzi for sure. Any swimming pool in the summertime around here is a jacuzzi. I would never have you guys come in the summer though. That would be so horrible to have you guys. It would have to be like a spring or fall thing where the lake is still nice to go put your feet in, but it's not completely, like 110, 115 out. You guys wouldn't like that here. Let's see, I have a meeting on Monday via Zoom. I'm about to find out. Kim has heard of it. My neighbors moved to Missouri. Our time to quilt is meeting that way during the week. Meeting what way? Wait, huh? What? I don't know what you're. I just don't remember the current conversation, I guess. I don't know. Has to be about something. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Yes, I have Zoom. Okay, fiber ink painting class was great. I've never been to Lake Havasu, but here it's nice. Did I spell that right? It's a lake, obviously. Havasu. Yep, exactly. It's beautiful here. Very, very beautiful. Very beautiful. And lately it's been extra beautiful because we've been getting rain, which is very, very weird. We've been having very weird weather. By now, this time of year, let's see, it's because it's the end of March or first thing of April, I would have already had my pool set up because I just put it on top, the little on top of the ground pool up every year for the kids to play in. And well, technically it's just for me, but it's for the kids to play in too. And yeah, I put the pool up and I'm already in it this time of year. And this year, it is like seriously still cold outside. Like I still wear my robe or my jacket or my sweater or something and my pajama pants because it is still cold out. For me, anything under 70 is cold for me. The days have been like 70, but nights are still like last night it was 47. So I don't know what it is right now. But I definitely know it's cold because I just went out in the living room and the front door is open. So we have the coolness coming in from outside. Oh, my phone is talking to me over and over again. Let's see. I'm not picky on hotels. Sleep in it anyways. Quilting group. I'm sorry, a fall would be nice. But I'm not in Zoom meetings. Dry heat, far better than Florida humidity and heat. This is dry heat. There's no humidity here. Only when it rains. And that is rare. I was afraid you were going to ask. I honestly don't know. Let's see about it. And I can't stand Florida humidity. It's hard to breathe. It is here in the summertime. Okay, so somebody that's never been to where I live, at least, because this is one of the hottest cities in Arizona. If you have never been here and you get out of your car after using your air conditioning and you are just coming into town and it's too hot, obviously, so you had to have your windows up and you get out, the first thing you're going to notice is like this weird, strange, hot sensation. This is in the summer. It's like you're breathing in hot air. But after you are away from your air conditioner for a little bit and you've acclimated to the area, the heat, you strangely be able to, asthma symptoms disappear, like coughing conditions disappear, like people that have like COPD and stuff, like it is such dry heat on a windy day. It blow dust around, but it's like allergy free almost. Like everyone says there's allergy problem, but only when we have the weeds pop up, and that's usually in the spring, but in the fall it's not. It's like you notice this 100% change, because I came from an area when I was up in Kingman and it was always colder and it rained a lot and this and that and this and that, and it's not as hot. I lived up there for many, many years. Every time I came to Havasu, it was like a breath of fresh air. Like I was literally able to breathe. Just take a breath and like enjoy being outside. And at night right now, it is amazing. You can sit outside. I have a hammock that I sit outside. I lay outside. I could fall asleep in my hammock because it's not really hot and it's not too freezing cold. And it's like you can breathe. There's no humidity, nothing, and like you're not in a big city, so there's no smog. Nothing is compressing anything in your chest. It's just beautiful outside. There's a big difference I've noticed. Like when I went to Texas, where we went up in the Panhandle, up in Clarksville or Clarksdale, I still for the life of me cannot remember the name of the city. It was on the corner of Oklahoma and Louisiana, right up there in the corner. I think it's Clarksdale. We went there and looked at a house, and while I was there, for one, it was cold. The guy told me that the weather was nice. Yeah, right. It was freaking cold. And second, it was like, I don't know. I felt like my lungs were being crushed. I'm so used to just fresh air, fresh dry air, that getting up where there's trees, it was tree area up where we were. Lots of trees and like swampiness almost, but it wasn't swampy. It just, that's the kind of trees that were up there. And yeah, I wasn't able to breathe. I felt like my lungs were collapsing. It was weird. So yeah, that's the first thing you'll notice. You'll get out of your car and you'll be like, oh, but in the summer, you'll see that it's hot if you ever come here in the summertime. It's not that bad in the fall, and in the fall, and fall here really doesn't start until Halloween. And then winter starts around Christmas, and then spring starts. It's already passed almost about weather-wise. Spring is like February to March, and then April is summer. From April until October, it is summer here. So maybe the best time would be for you guys, if I was to ever have such retreat type thing and set it up, we could do it around my birthday time, because there's no actual big holidays around November 4th. It's just a voting day. Usually my birthday falls every 4 years or so, or 5 years. It falls on a Tuesday, which is a voting day. I was born on election day, said that many years ago. So yeah, around my birthday every year. That's the best time of year. It's technically fall. The weather is nice. It's not hot. It's just perfect weather. You can still wear a bathing suit outside during the day. I don't recommend jumping in the pool in November though. Like hot tubs are okay, but in a pool, no, not in November. I swim usually up until August. I go in the pool up until about, I don't know, late August. By September, I don't go in the pool no more. Then the water is too cold for my comfort. But yeah, it's beautiful here, guys. I don't know how else to explain it. I love it here. And then all this time I'm telling you there's no cough. I have a cough because for some strange reason this little stupid bronchitis cough crap is not easing up. It's like every time I'm in here and I'm not wearing a mask, those wonderful masks that Miss Kim has gracefully made me, because I'm not making my own. I wear them when I'm not on film, but when I'm on film, it's like I'm breathing so much dust. I get these little, and they tickle the back of my throat, and it's just annoying. Very annoying. It's making me cough. I'm not sure. I don't know. At least I'm not sneezing. Sometimes all this little dust makes me sneeze. All right, where are we at? Oh my God, there's lots of talking. Let's see. Okay, dry heat better than humidity. Okay, here was we. Just gonna ask that. I honestly don't know you were talking to there. Let's see. Hi, Cheryl. Hi for the third time. Yeah, I'm on a lot today. Cheryl, let me know how it goes. And voice for sure is good. Okay, Sona and Jill went back to Florida for the first time in over 40 plus years. Oh, Jill, I was gonna say, wow, that doesn't read right. 40 plus years, and I had to mentally prepare myself about 10 minutes and my daughters for what we were going to walk into, and then I remembered why. Yeah, see, we don't get that kind of humidity here ever. And when it rains, it's 100% humid, but it's dry humidity. It's not moist humidity, if that makes any sense to anybody. If you've ever been to an area that's humid and then been to a non-humid area that has humidity only when it rains, It's like that. It's a dry humidity. It's not moist. It doesn't make you feel full, and you don't, our humidity doesn't make you sweat profusely and get sticky with the need to shower 500 times a day, like for those of you who live in humid areas. We don't have that when it's humid here. Let's see. I hated Florida so much, but that's where our cruise ship was. Oh, I'm back. Went to raid the refrigerator. I should do that, but I'm not going to. Maybe I will later. I'll eat me some cookies. I should have brought my cookies in here. Then I wouldn't be able to talk without a full mouth. Tiffany, when you have a piece of fabric you are cutting for pre-cuts, how do you determine what sizes you are going to cut them? Oh, like when I am using my scrap bin to make pre-cuts, I just determine the size by how much there is there. So if it looks like a big enough piece, I'll cut as many big pieces out of it as possible. And then once all the big pieces are done, then I'll move on to the next smaller piece. So if I have, say, a 12-inch piece of fabric, I'm going to cut 5-inch squares from it first. So say I'll get 3 5-inch squares, and I don't really care if I get 3 5-inch squares because it all goes in the bin for me to have pieces in case I need one for something else. That's what my 5-inch squares end up usually being. I'll cut as many as I can of a certain size first, and then whatever's left gets cut to a second size. I do tend to cut a lot of 2.5-inch squares from a lot of my scrap fabric, like a lot. My other sizes that I do keep though, if I have some remnants that are salvage to selvage, I always cut strips first. If any fabric is salvage to selvage, I start with 2.5-inch strips, and then I go to 1.5-inch strips, and then I make my random size ones that don't fit in my 2.5 and 1.5-inch bins. I always do that. That is something I never, whatever, like any scrap fabric that has salvage to selvage always is strips, full length strips. All the rest is just random. I kind of just make up my mind. I'll look at the piece and go, would that look better in 5-inch squares or 4-inch squares or 3.5-inch squares, because I cut all sizes. So that's pretty much, I don't really have like a system on that. I just cut whatever's random. My bins, a lot of them have overflown over time. So I've had to move from one bin to another bin to another bin to another bin. So now I have 3 bins, 3 of those shoebox bins filled with 2.5-inch squares. So I'm like thinking the next time I cut some of my fabric, I have a bin that I keep throwing pieces in, like pre-made blocks go in a drawer. That's set aside. That doesn't get cut up into anything. But all the leftover fabric, if it's not a string piece or something that could just be used as strings, like I just did in earlier's video, pre-sewing those together. If it's not something like that, then I put it in a bin. Then when I get, when I can't sleep and I'm not making a video, I come in here and that's what I do quietly, with barely any light on. I just quietly cut a bunch of pieces when I can't sleep, and then it tires me out enough to where I can go lay down, and it's just like one of those relaxing things I do. And then I end up with pre-cuts, and I cut all sorts of sizes, which you guys already know. So alrighty, last one here. So there's no system to that. I just cut what I can when I can have enough to cut whatever the word, you know what I'm saying. Okay, that one's to Anne. Totally agree. Moved to Tennessee in July and thought I was going to die from sweating. Oh, see, I can't. When we went to Texas, even though it was cold, I was sweating under my sweatshirt, and I was sticky feeling. I don't know. And I also did not like the sound of the cicada. Oh my God, those things are so annoying. Like, I was awake the whole time, but if I was even have tried to fall asleep, it would have been horrible. And the motel was crappy that we went to. The town was crappy that we went to. For anybody that lives in that area called Clarksdale or Clarkville or whatever the hell it was called, I feel sorry for you because I did not. I'm sorry, but I did not like your town. If anybody from that area ever watched this, I did not like that town. It was, I don't know. I think it's one of the trashiest cities I've ever been to in all my life. And I lived in LA when I was a kid. I'm from Los Angeles, California. You know, I mean, that was nothing compared to where we went. That little town we went to was absolutely horrible. Horrible, horrible. Oh, I will never go there. The homes were beautiful though. I love old Victorian and just old Victorian homes. I love them. I'm obsessed with them. All right. Last piece. Last piece. All right. Let's see. I moved to okay. Searched and Quality Inn Suites has a contract. That's the one. Our Quilt Girls uses Quality Inn. That's what it is. Room gem. I bet off season could get a good week rate. Make them a deal. I'll have to look into that, Brenda. I'll let them know because that's what our guild uses. So I can just ask one of the guild members. I know that they give out all the information. Anything that I want to know, they'll tell me. And lived in Tri-Cities and WA. And it was over 200 in summer. It was always dry. I prefer dry heat any day. Let's see. I always thought of California was dry, but AZ is dry. You're right, Tiffany. It's a different kind of heat. Yeah, it is. It's different. Very different. Like in the summer, I gotta sew. I think I gotta sew. In the summer, I sweat. Anybody sweats in the summer. It's hot, yes. But it's not a sticky sweat. You can actually go wipe your sweat off your armpits if you're afraid that people are going to see it. Just wipe the sweat away and go like this, and you're not going to have like a sticky sensation feeling on your hands. You're not going to, you know, women who have big breasts, you can tuck your shirts in under your boobs and dry off the sweat onto your shirt, and it's not going to stain your shirt. You know, it's not going to leave a sticky sensation under your breasts. It's not that kind of heat. It's dry. It's just sweat that drips down, and it's not like everybody sits here and sweats horribly. I mean, there are older ladies that I have met, a few of them, and that I know that prefer not to wear shorts anymore because of their age and varicose veins and blah 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 blah. And they live here in the summertime and they wear pants, black pants, some of them, and not one complaint of the heat. So I mean, it's one of those things. It's nice dry heat. And you guys don't cool down when the sun goes down in AZ. It kind of does. Okay, so daytime say is 110. Nighttime is 103. It cools down slightly. No, it gets to like 95. If it's 110 out during the day, it'll be like 95. It does cool down a little. I go in my pool a lot at night as opposed to during the day. But I do like to sunbathe, is what the word I guess is for it, in the morning time. So like before noon sun, the afternoon time sun is not the kind of sun you want to stand in all day. My girl from Denver, Colorado, married Missouri cowboy, and I've been sending private for years, and now this is home. I like it here. It's only 50 degrees here in India right now. I have a bedroom window open and loving the cool breeze. Yeah, we have windows and the front door. We have those security screen on the front door. So my cat, he gets annoying when we leave doors and windows open though, because we have a neighbor's cat who is an indoor cat, which is kind of not smart where we live, but whatever. Anyways, if we open too many doors and windows, our cat will meow all night long because he sees all the bunnies and the neighbor's cat and every once in a while the coyotes. Yeah. They're gonna meow and annoy everybody all night long. We don't open too much. And I don't open this window in here because it'll echo from this room to the front room through the screen door being, the door being open, and the screen door is, it's not like it stops sound. So Scott will hear me sewing. Sometimes he hears me talking when I talk on the phone in the middle of the night, and he'll get up. Who are you talking to? He does that often, actually, because I talk on the phone in the middle of the night. All my fellow insomniacs and I have a lot of conversations when people are sleeping. Was you planning to come to Paducah? I got a refund from the Dream Motel, two days, $440. No, I wasn't gonna go there, although it would have been fun to go there. I wasn't gonna go to Paducah. If I would have drove there, it would have been on the way, but I wouldn't have been driving. Dream to retire to Colorado. We did last summer. We took a road trip. It was beautiful. Retirement is great there. You can afford the cost. Loving. It's probably supposed to say living in California, not loving. And then she just, okay, never mind. It says it now. It is about anywhere is less expensive. It's so ridiculous here. Here, it's okay. You guys curious about the cost of living here? How about that? Right now, if you're curious in real estate, why I know these things is because I like to look at houses on the internet. Because I always show Scott pictures and go, this house has a room that'd be perfect for my quilt room. Can we sell ours and buy this one instead? I like to look at real estate. Anyways, a lot of the houses have been sold in my little neighborhood. Here is a general idea of housing costs. Okay, if you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, boat deep or not boat deep, it don't matter because that's not an option. You're looking at about $270,000 to $290,000 for a house if you're purchasing. Rent wise, if you are looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home to rent, you are looking about $1,300 to $1,500 a month in rent. If you are looking for a 2-bedroom, say 2-bedroom, 2-bath, split floor plan, this would be the same with the 3-bedroom house, then you're looking at about, for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath with 2-car garage, about $240,000 to $260,000. I know that's a weird number to jump from 60 to 70, but it also depends on the year of the home. A lot of the houses around here are newer. There's not really anything older than 1965 because this town was founded in the 60s. So you're not really going to find anything that old. There are a lot of homes that are the 70s, but 90% of the homes that were built in the 70s are already remodeled and 100% updated, new electrical, new this, new that, mostly everything here is sewer, but there are areas in our area that are still on septic. If you are looking to rent a 2-bedroom, you're looking at $900 to $1,200 a month. So that's about the housing costs. If you are looking for more, like say your husband is a golfer and you guys want a home on the golf course, you're looking at a little bit more. So a 3-bedroom on the golf course is going to run you anywhere from $390,000 to about $450,000, depending on where exactly on the golf course. Now, if you're on a really good part of the golf course, then you're looking at $1 million. There's no doubt about I wouldn't even say 500,000 anymore, because 90% of the homes that are really, really fancy on the golf course are $850,000 to $1 million. So, I mean, it's pretty darn pricey. So there's a big price gap. I've also noticed a difference between, we have in our town, it's okay, there's the lake. The town goes up from the lake it makes this curve around. So it's mountains all around that way, like a big U shape. We are a big U-shaped town with a lake at the bottom. The town literally goes like this. The well water for our area is pumped up to the what are those big huge tank things called? The storage tanks. The water is pumped to the storage tanks, and then it is gravity fed to the homes in this town. That is how we get our water. There's so that it saves money on extra pumps and blah 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 blah. But so it's divided into 3 sections. We have north side, which is going towards Walmart. And then we have central, which is where I live, which is literally next to McCulloch, which is Main Street. McCulloch is the next over. It is Main Street. So I am in walking distance of everything. I can walk to the lake. I can walk everywhere. We're in central part of town. And then there's the south part of town, which is going out towards like you're going out towards, there's a big park out there called Sarah Park, and there's dirt bike races, like BM type stuff. There's fireworks shows. There's a like a race car track. There's all kinds of those kind of things. But the lake is on mainly north and central. The views from the south side are $1 million homes. To get a lake view home, you need $1 million home on the south side. Plus that's where the big golf course is. It kind of rolls from central all the way into the south side. It's a pretty big golf course. Anyway, so I've noticed that the housing prices are less on the central side of town. And if you're going to the north side, it like varies a lot. And then the south side has the more expensive homes. I've noticed there's a difference. So yeah, that's about, you know, our stuff. And then like cost wise, a lot of like, I'll just tell you what ours is. In the summertime, our electric bill never goes over $220 at the most. And now that we have less people last year, I don't even think we went over $175 last year. And that's running the AC unit constantly. Some of our neighbors run theirs constantly. We have a 1,400 square foot home, and a lot of our neighbors have about the same, maybe a little bit more. And they tell us all the time that their electric bill is in the $200 and $300 a month. Like, we don't even know how it's possible for the bill to be that high, because even at my old house, which was still central of the town, I had a 5-bedroom house before moving to this one, and it never got over $175. So, and that house was all tile. That's another plus here. If you have an all tile house, it's easier to cool. If you have carpet, it's a little bit more to cool. Water bill is pretty darn cheap. They also have a program around here where your water bill can be spread out. Like, so you pay a specific amount every month. And I think our electric company does the same thing, actually. It's spread out to equal the same all month long or all year long. And anything that's the overage credits to the next month, anything that the underage, the next month's overage will cover for the prior month's kind of thing. So we have that kind of stuff. Let's see. Okay. I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. He is no problem here. We have a friend that lives up there, so we know a family friend that lives in Canada. She likes it there. She says she doesn't like it here because of the heat. She likes where she lives. I thought maybe you said you were coming to Kentucky, just assuming. No, I was going to go to a family friend. How much is gas per gallon where you are, ladies? Here, our last, hold on, Scott just said it the other day. I was like $2.15 or something like that a gallon. It's going down though. It's been going down a lot. Let's see. Yesterday's $3.10 for regular. A few months ago, $3.83. That's $1.67. When I was out on 17th, it was $1.89. I've been out since. Tiffany, good luck trying to find just about any property to purchase for $250,000 here. I'm telling you, it's super ridiculous. So you can't buy where you are, Jill, for anything under $250,000. Jill, it's crazy. Gas 241 there. Jill, sales tax 1025. That's awful. Yeah, property's pretty cheap here. If you want to buy like a plain piece of property, you know, with a guaranteed lake view, that's one thing. An empty property will cost you, it seems it'll cost you more than it costs to buy an already pre-made home that someone else has lived in, for more, if it makes sense. You buy the property with a lake view, it's going to cost you like 75,000. To have a house, you choose the model home that you want. They have a lot of model homes around here. You choose the model home, and that's, you know, say 195 to 240,000, depending on if you have an RV garage built. So plus the $75,000 for the property, like that's a lot of money when you can just buy a place, an actual already built home, and, you know, just decorate it the way you want or remodel the way you want or whatever for the 250,000, and savings right there, you know. But houses that I forgot to add, that the houses that have RV garages, there are a lot of homes here that have RV garages because we get the snowbirds, which I've told you guys that plenty of times. The RV garaged houses are usually about $10,000 to $15,000 more than a house that doesn't have an RV garage but has just a regular, you know, 2-car garage. So, I mean, it's not horrible pricing here. Rent-wise, an RV garage property is actually going to be a little bit more in rent too, and than a house that doesn't have an RV garage. I've learned that from 2 of my friends that are renters. We own, so I don't have to worry about it. The market stays pretty good around here lately. I mean, it did in the past, long time ago, jumped up and down quite a bit. It was so down at one point in time, my grandma bought up a lot of homes here in Havasu. But she died a long time ago. All right, I'm going to keep all these together now. And I think I'm going to get off of here because I really have a horrid stomach ache. And I should tend to that. Like, it's getting worse, but I'm still able to talk myself through it, but it's starting to not feel so good. It's the only thing I hate about being me. Stomach aches all the freaking time. Burpy gassy all the time. Like, I don't know. I have so many problems. Medically, at least. They're annoying. Very annoying. It would be a bad part of town out. It would be a bad part of town or out in the boonies, I would imagine. What would be a bad part of town or out in the boonies, Jill? Oh, like an area where, for my prices where you live? I know that in Norwalk, where I grew up, a family friend years ago sold a house that we rented from them. Like my dad and mom rented from a family friend. I know they say not to do those kind of things, but we rented from a family friend when I was a little kid growing up. And recently I found out from a family member that that family sold their home, and they sold it for like $750,000. Are you freaking kidding me? I'm like, how did it sell for that much? That place was a dump. I mean, compared to where I live now, that place was a dump. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how it would have sold for that much money. All my life, we lived there for quite a long time over the years. When I was a kid, my parents still lived there when I moved out until they divorced. And yeah, I went back to that house a bazillion times after my dad did a lot of work to it, you know, because my dad fixed it up for, I don't know if he got a discount on the rent or not, because I never asked my parents, you know. But now that I know as an adult home prices, to think, really, that place was worth that much money? Like, it just doesn't seem like it. All right, let's see. I'm clenching because my stomach, guys. Let's see, I would be okay. Feel better and sleep well, everyone. Thinking a RV garage would make a great sewing studio. Trust me, I have thought about it. Someone actually, I'm going to tell you guys this real quick. In one of the houses that I was looking at recently and showed Scott, someone turned an RV garage into a custom quilting room and built a loft up. And I wouldn't be able to use the loft because I can't use stairs, but they built a loft in the top part and enclosed it and turned it into an extra spare guest bedroom as well. So someone actually took an RV garage and transformed it. And one of the areas, like in the photos, the way they took it, it was customly made for a long arm to fit exactly in that space. Don't know why people moved. It must have been, either they passed away or she stopped quilting or they had just had to sell and move or something. But yeah, it was custom. They didn't need the RV garage. They weren't RVers. It still had a regular 2-car garage. The RV garage was transformed into a quilting space. The realtor even posted in the thing, quilter's dream garage. Like, it was pretty cool. So I would have loved it. It would have been awesome. But Scott is like, no, that's like, even if we sold our house, we would have had to pay like $75,000 more towards it. We don't have that kind of money. So all right, let's see. Night, night, night. Oh my gosh. Okay, take care of yourself. Yes, I'm gonna go try to deal with my stomach. I will get to this next time I'm on a video. So at least all the rows are made and ready to go. So I'm just gonna leave them there. All right, guys. So I will see you guys next time, and y'all take care, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe, like, share my videos. Bye, everyone.